I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order, the Courthouse and Property Committee. I believe everyone is here. We are going to start with prayer with Commissioner Sweeney.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the leadership of this county and all those who did an unbelievable job yesterday taking care of the good people of Bedford County. We ask that you be with Commissioner Brown and watch over him and all the commissioners who are out ill, that you heal them and bring them back to the committees. We ask as we make the decisions that we make tonight that we do so with thought for the good of Bedford County. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Okay, and as I said, everyone's here. The next thing on the agenda is the approval, and I'm going to correct this, of the July 20th Courthouse and Property Committee meeting minutes.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? All opposed? All right, next is zoning and planning. I don't think Chris isn't here, I don't think. Okay, well, everybody has their report. IT, we have Josh here.
So last month, they didn't have a quorum, so we didn't meet. Our committee didn't meet, so you probably have a couple of months worth of reports from us. We've been busy doing installations. We basically did a training session for department heads back in August, and it was for cybersecurity awareness. And one of the earlier committee meetings y'all heard about where it's a big issue. Cybersecurity is a big discussion point right now, costing local governments and different organizations a lot of money, ransomware, infections, things like that. So we're trying to keep our users continuously trained. We use KnowBe4, we use a software to keep our people up to date on the latest threats to help to protect the data for Bedford County. We had looked at some services that we're thinking about swapping out our legacy fax service with the eFax solution. We're still working on that. I have submitted the contract that I have that we would need to change out to Robert's office of finance, so I'm waiting to hear back on that. Now, that's going to save us some significant money. We've been paying out about $15,000 a year collectively across the board, where we can get this eFax service. It costs us about $1,500 a year. So it's a pretty big savings to swap over to a more modern technology. It'd be email-based instead of using those legacy telephone lines. So we're constantly doing more installations. We also have installed some meeting hardware, conference hardware, Polycom systems to help us to conduct remote meetings. The officials will be using professional equipment when they're conducting these meetings with dignitaries and emergency officials and help us to be ready for emergency situations. We've started that. We've begun that process. The EMS headquarters, we've installed one there. Then we installed one in the Duck River meeting room at the courthouse as well. We upgraded all of the computer systems in the finance department. We saved them a little bit over $7,000. They had received a quote from local government. We spec'd it out. We were able to actually do a little bit better job than what they had quoted because we had some additional hardware. You'll see on the report there, you see 2 monitors and a post. Well, that's the computer. The computer actually mounts to the back of those monitors. That's our new standard for computer systems in Bedford County. That's what it'll look like. It's going to be a clean, solid installation, and we're looking forward to doing that throughout the county as those systems become legacy and unsupported. Upgrading some phone systems across the board. We brought EMA on board to our voice over IP system that'll help us to connect that office. We can manage those phones a little bit better. They're keeping their legacy phone system in the event of emergencies in case they need those as well. And we have seen a decrease in our risk factor associated with our cybersecurity awareness training. We noticed that once we educate the users and their department heads, that our click-through rate, we send out monthly phishing emails to attempt to try to teach our users what not to click on if they received an email And we've noticed a drastic decrease in the amount of clicks that we're seeing on those. But it pretty much covers what I had in my reports. Y'all have any questions? I'll be happy to answer any of them.
I have a comment. Thanks for the IT department, given at Mayor Ray's memorial, y'all were able to uncover the sign so that we and the audience it was fantastically done. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I have to give credit to the younger people in my department.
You notice I said Josh and T. Right?
Sure, because the streaming technology, I'm great with large systems, connecting wires and routers and switches and firewalls and cybersecurity, all that jazz. But when it's talking about streaming, all these newer applications with Facebook Live, you've got everything from Facebook Live, Microsoft Teams, Zoom. There's 100 different meetings, GoToMeeting, there's Citrix, there's so many different softwares out there that you can accomplish the same goals. It may have a little bit of variance, but my staff members, they all are a lot better with that than I am. And I recognize that we have some really talented young people here that we've hired. I'm very blessed to say our most recent was Jada Curry, which she hasn't been able to be introduced to you all, but I plan on introducing her to this body very soon. So she's been an asset too. But Austin Defoe helped me to set up the demonstration for Mr. Ray. We're able to remote.
Fantastic. It was very nice.
Family loved it.
Yes.
Anything else I can answer tonight?
Anybody have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, fire department. Mark's
Yeah, my report,
fire truck's running good.
We finally got a programming wire that we've been waiting on for 4 months, and it came in and they got the truck programmed. Now we got a recall notice on the fuel rail system could rupture. We don't know if ours is in that or not, so we got carried to Nashville and they said they don't know when the parts will be available. It is, so here we go again.
But also thanks to his department for the flags at different special events. Thank you, Mark. It's impressive.
Does anybody have any questions for Mark? Okay, thank you. 911. Philip.
I'll first take any questions you guys have on the report. Talk about a couple things. One, overall, this is kind of a milestone that we've noticed that we could pretty comfortably say now that about 92% of all 911 calls were made on wireless devices. That number, when it was first started to be tracked, it was about 70% or so, and it is quick is relative, but it has quickly moved into that 90%. I feel like it will probably top out around 95, 96, which is, there's always going to be some landlines around as long as the phone companies offer copper wire, there'll still be some landlines around. But quickly moving to pretty full saturation on cell phones and 911 calls. Talked about it a couple times in the past, but just kind of a quick update on text to 911. Still good questions about that. That's a slow mover. There are 11 counties in Tennessee that are live texting 911. Most of those are the larger population centers. So if you look at the overall picture, there are 5 tiers of readiness for texting to 911. The top tier, tier 5, being they're live. They're actively taking text to 911, and the first tier being they haven't started the process yet. So 11 are live on what you consider tier 5. Tier 4 is considered text ready. That's where Bedford County is. There are 7 counties in that tier, which basically means we have all the equipment and technology installed and we're capable of doing it. We're now in a phase of testing with the wireless carriers to make that happen. The big 4, the AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, and Sprint. You have to go through all the testing with that. That takes a long, long time. They spent most of, the early part of all that testing with the larger counties, the population centers, which is why they're live first. So just an update, if people ask you about texting to 911, we're at the doorstep. It's still gonna be a while, and it's still not a perfect system just because the carriers are still lagging in giving us the technology that we need. Even the ones that are taking text to 911 now, they're not getting the location data that comes with it, like we do with a phone call. It's just a text. So better than nothing, but we still have a long way to go, even for the folks that are taking them live. So I just wanted to share that with you, and I'm happy to answer any
That's
questions.
interesting. I could see how that would be beneficial,
It can. A lot of people were scared of it, thinking it would just overwhelm their centers, and people would, it's a lot easier to just, for kids to play with it. And, 25% of our calls are some form of open line or hang up, or kids playing with with an old phone that they don't know will still call 911 even though it doesn't have service. But it hasn't, fortunately, what we've seen so far, there hasn't been a lot of that. Centers haven't been overwhelmed yet with text, the ones that are taking them. So.
Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, GIS and media, John.
I don't have a whole lot to add to the report. Continuing to work on some stuff, trying to ramp up on the GIS side of things, but also sort of staying busy with the public information and website side of things. I really don't have a whole lot to add unless you have any questions.
Anybody have any questions? Okay, thank you. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve all reports. And do we need to also approve this July reports?
You didn't have, you didn't have.
We got them in the mail.
I mean, you didn't.
We
have
didn't
a
go
meeting,
over 'em.
right,
Yeah, we didn't have a
so I
meeting.
don't
Okay.
think so.
Never mind. Okay, we just need to approve the reports then.
Move to approve. Second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, all opposed? All right. In old business, I do have one thing.
I've got some too.
Okay. One of the things is the old HMS gym. I believe from talking with, Commissioner Yaki and from Robert Daniel, that it is ready for surplus, so we just need to send that to the commission,
Just send it
correct?
to the commission. John Teo, he's worrying about this, if we need a survey, don't need a survey, how much easement for the buses, so all that will be included in what he's doing.
So I guess,
We are working on that. Now, I was under the impression that the commission had already surplused that property. And, so we were gonna put the packet together to bring to the commission for y'all to vote to do it. But if you, however you wanna do it, it's okay
well,
with me.
from the meeting minutes, we had sent it to finance, and then they ended up deferring it, I believe, and didn't do anything.
If I'm talking about even before now, they surplused the.
I went
the
back
gym.
some, I didn't go back more than a year on anything.
We couldn't recall all the details of that, so.
So, I would feel more comfortable, we just kind of started all over again.
Okay.
Because it is empty now, it is ready to move, so.
You want us just to have like a motion to surplus it, check into the easement and the survey and get everything going?
Surplus and correct the documents and we'll.
He will do it, if you declare it surplus and it goes to county commission, all that'll have to be done. He knows that. And I asked Robert what his opinion was on asking for a low bid, and he said sometimes that hurts you because they'll see that low bid and just do that when we might get more than that, and if it comes back to finance to accept it, we just don't have to accept the bid if we don't want to.
Commissioner Thomas?
In that, does that include that field house that's not part of that gym?
We never did decide that. I don't
I
believe.
think you
I
would be,
think we
I think
need
you
to,
would be
yeah.
sweeping that in with it.
Yes.
Put that all in one
Yes,
package.
I'm-
We don't need to
Okay.
separate.
All that would be left is, in theory, half of the parking lot and the
Well, maybe more than half of the parking lot, but a line down,
All right.
I guess a line down by the gym.
Well, property versus easement, there was some discussion about an easement to use it all, but a
Yes.
property line that, made it, otherwise nobody, you
And the
you
parking
wouldn't.
lot
Make
is
sure
real
we're clear, we're not
undefined.
talking
It
about
was-
just that gym, that's that
It's that-
field house
it's
too.
Field house.
Okay, so the field house, the gym.
We're gonna have to survey, I mean, we were talking
Yeah.
about it, but,
There's too many unclear parts, especially with the parking
so you have
lot.
to send it to the commission and we'll, but he was gonna prep the package, we were just gonna prep everything and send it, bring it back here to send to the commission, but either way you wanna go, if you wanna go first, it's okay, either way.
I'm just going by what I was told today, but
What-
all he needed is it declared surplus, and then he'll start moving with survey and or easement decisions. He talked to, Dr. Garrett and I believe Kenny Parker at the bus garage to know how much is actually needed for those buses to pull around and try to make a circle, and so he's got all that going. So
Yeah.
my suggestion is get with him and see.
Yeah, either way you wanna do it, it's okay. I was under the impression it had been surplus before I was the
I
mayor,
don't think we did.
the property,
I-
but, because it had been the schools at one point and the county had taken it.
If it's that far back, that makes me nervous that
Yeah, we
stuff has
should redo it.
changed. And-
It
Yeah,
ain't,
cause I didn't.
yeah, it's
Okay.
semantics.
And the minutes that I gave Julie were from this past November, and then ours was the next month where we took no action other than informing John T. of what you all said. And he said, can't do anything till it's surplus.
So what's the wishes of the committee?
So do we have any liability or responsibility for drainage? Because that's a huge drainage problem over there. Yeah, that can get very expensive really
That's the
quick.
mouth of the flume right there.
Yeah.
That's behind it, we don't own that,
Okay.
that already had been sold off.
Yeah.
That's a backfield and all that.
The Kings own that field house and that.
No, not the field
Not the
house,
field
it's
house.
ours.
Not the
But-
field house, the track and field and
Yeah.
football field.
The stadium part and the
Yes.
backfield is
Okay,
already
that's
there.
right.
And that's where the
Talking about
flume,
the parking lot floods so bad.
I think it's probably just standing.
they usually pull those buses up in the afternoon and back them to that side. First, they have to, get up there to back up, and it needs a little bit of space, so.
So would you all like to take?
Make a motion that we declare the old Harris gym surplus, and I guess we need to add in the, field house.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Uh,
All opposed? Okay. And Mayor Graham, you had something?
I did, wanted to, just give you an update on the courthouse renovation. As you know, we had thought we'd be much further along by this time, but we met today, and we think now we were able to get the financial piece of that restructured correctly with some construction management. And so we'll be moving forward. So now maybe 4 months, where we'd hope by November, certainly December, we better count 4 months starting in October. Yeah. So, but we think we've got a solution. Of course, as everybody else's projects in the country are coming in higher than expected, this one has too, but we were able to negotiate and restructure some things. And then we also, through some of the ARC money, we believe that we're going to be able to, the courtroom itself is being designed to give you guys individual space, to refresh air, and to manage the public's ability to have social distancing and access. So we believe that component of it will be able to take from those other funds. And so that's what's giving us the relief that we would need to be able to stay on the project.
Does anybody have any questions about that? Okay. Any other old business?
I got a new one though.
Oh,
A
you
new
did? Okay.
business.
Under new business, we do not have any surplus for IT department, so that's wrong on our agenda. But, I believe Mayor Graham has some new business.
I need to catch you guys up on, ever since the first floor of the annex, since we've been moved in over there, we've had acoustics problems. And we've done different maneuvers and even putting up the glass because of COVID, we thought might manage sound better. It's continued to be a problem, so we had a acoustic engineer study that. The architect folks are gonna give us a summary report. We'll bring back to you guys to see it. I haven't gotten it yet either. with some recommendations to try to manage that better, because it really has become pretty difficult to hear, and especially you got people with masks on and those things in the glass and other stuff we're doing. So we'll, as soon as we get that back, we'll bring that forward to you guys, let you see what the recommendations are. It's my understanding how this works is they'll make a recommendation list of things to do. You can start with whichever one you want, or you can just start with one and keep doing down the list till you achieve what, the desired effect. So, but the architect folks had that done, because that's been a chronic problem ever since we've been there. And we kept thinking it was gonna get better, but it's just not. And so we'll make sure that you guys know what's going on with that.
Sounds good. Does anybody have any other new business? Okay, any announcements?
Hey, can I say one more thing? You probably should.
Sure, go right
That's my
ahead.
mistake. The elevator is set to be installed in end of November. So that's a total, complete new elevator
At
system.
the courthouse or the annex?
Annex, at the annex, yeah. And to refresh your memory, we've said this before, but basically, the money that was left behind, or that we hoped would be left behind to do the second floor remodel for someday to be financed, wound up being eat up between this elevator and the boiler system. You remember, we had to completely redo those. So I don't want anybody to not think that, we've reinvested it right where it belongs, but there's really not, we could paint a wall or something if we need to, but we couldn't do the kind of renovation on the second floor without finding new funds, if at one time we need to do it. Right now, we're using that space as it is, so it's not necessary, as far as we're concerned, to do anything with it, but I don't want any of you that's been on the commission a long time to think, hey, wait a minute, we had funds to do the second floor, because they got ate up in
How
the,
much do our litigation, I've forgotten, our litigation fees per month accrue?
I'm not sure what they are, but there is funds still going in, but of course, they hadn't had court, but court's picked back up, so there's been
So it'll.
but it will start to come back up to be helpful in that area, but I just wanna.
I wanna say 4,000 to 5,000, but I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
100-something
I
thousand.
know the elevator needed to be replaced.
Yeah, the thing is we were going into this building, and we'll do more and more, not transitioning out of this building, so you just have to make, just like the boiler, we had to make that investment.
Okay, any other announcements? Okay, I'll accept the motion for adjournment.